Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to our continued playthrough of Myth Dark Frontier, where we're getting into our next episode. So technically I've completed a whole turn, but I didn't do the final phase step last turn, and I need to do that. Plus there's also something else that I need to do, which was, I think I underestimated the power of the devastation piece. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I did or not. It just says raise the devastation track if applicable, then spawn minions in addition to perform a muster. So the applicable piece was where I got in. I think I needed to raise the track one more time. I'm going to double check that. It was suggested to me by someone who was watching. Also, it also suggests that the spells that the apprentice gets, you actually get to choose, but I don't understand that, because it says clearly to shuffle up the cards and put them in the deck. So why would you do that if you're picking them? And then why would you care about adding discards back to your hand, or back to the the draw pile? Just add them back to something you can use. I don't know. It's kind of awkward. So I'm kind of working through that with the apprentice. We will see. But I am going to check on that one thing, and then I'm going to do the wrap-up phase before we get started with our actual new. It's called the refresh step and revise. So anyway, we'll get to all that in a moment, but let me just check out, make sure I was about this devastation piece. Yeah, so at the time it looks like I had two guys on supply tracks, which means that each hero in an adjacent to a ruins area tests cunning 8. If they fail, they move one captain one area towards each active quest. So I think we have to do that. The only one I had I had two characters near, or actually all three characters were next to ruins. So we would have had to do a cunning test. I'm going to just do that quickly for each one of them. They all have, well, two of them have 2 dice, and then the brigand has 1 dice. So we'll do the apprentice first. I needed to roll an 8, which I failed to do, which means one of the captains moved closer to, it says what, move one captain towards the active quest. And the active quests are in the ruins. So there will be a captain moving into the space with our brigand, and then our brigand himself has 3 dice, so he's fine. He made the cunning test, and then our soldier rolls 3 dice and failed that as well, because I failed just about everything. And so that means that we will have these captains actually moving into the spaces with those, because I needed to correct that. I don't want to make a mistake, and we did go up 2 on the devastation track. So now there's more to deal with there than I had planned, but that is okay. We're off to it, by the way, and other people have told me this is a really bad start. Like, it is about as worst start as we could get. So, c'est la vie, right? So the next thing, though, oh, the life interruptions, I tell you. They keep on coming. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to look... So let me talk about the spell thing with the apprentice. Okay. I am going to continue to play it the way it reads, regardless of what's happening on BGG or forums or conversations. It's mixed in the rules as to whether or not you should be drawing or choosing. I'm going to keep drawing the spells. Seems more interesting. So at this stage, that's what I'm going to do. If someone tells me that's absolutely the wrong thing to do, then okay. But it does say to make a deck, shuffle it, and do that. Why would you do that if you just go through and pick it? You wouldn't have to shuffle anything. But anyway, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. However, we do have to finish the prepare phase, which is after all the actions were done. So we did all the actions, but we have to do the prepare phase. Now, on the prepare phase, there's components that would normally have some action. We don't have to do those, but we do get resources. We get 1 resource for each structure, and we have 3 structures. Okay. Now, those structures may get destroyed because we're moving people into them, but what we're going to do is we can get to pick 3 of any resource. The resources are, of course, supply, hope, and influence. Now, if we look at some of the things that we have to accomplish with our objectives, and we see what we need for these, we've got, it says, spend 4 influence, 1 hope. We got spend 4 supply and 1 hope, and spend 3 hope and 2 supply. So it looks like, really, if we go for what we need the majority of with these 2, it's hope and supply. So I think what we'll do is we'll take 2 supplies and a hope. So that supplies get used for other things. So here they are. Here is our hope and our 2 supplies. They're going to go right here in the Farronrock Reserve. And now we can continue on. Well, so we do the refresh step. We've done that revive step. We don't have to revive anybody. Everybody's good. We don't have to, none of these guys were delayed for any reason because they didn't do anything. Speaking of the minions, they can be delayed, but they didn't do anything, so we're okay there. So I do believe we just are going to be getting back around to the planning step. Now, planning step is a little bit different in the second round because we have already drawn some enemy cards which are already out. We know what they are, which gives us an idea of what's coming. So we know we had a March, a Devastation, and a Scheme. We're going to shuffle those up and put them shuffled on the bottom of the next two cards. So we know without a doubt, and I don't know what order, but we know we're going to get a Corruption and Despair card. So that's that deck right there. And then, like we did before, we're going to place them. We're going to be placing them here, here, and here. And now, so one of the ones we had before is now in play, but the other two are not. So we will have some differences here. So Despair, we know that Despair is going to hit the blue area, so we need to clear minions from those. I don't remember what the other one is, but anyway, we did get, yeah, we have to clear as much as we can. We got to clear enemies out of those Despair, the Hope locations. So that's that. Now we got to pick our actions and place them in our in the various times of day. I did double check. There was nothing left that I had to do there. That was it. We covered everything. Everything's reset, ready to go. So let's continue on. So while I really wanted to get some additional fortifications out this turn, I don't know. We have so many enemies that came on the board. We have to deal with this. So we're going to have overruns and all kinds of bad stuff. So now I can't do much about that. This location up here. This is a really bad spot for us, but I can do something. So we're going to look at the Apprentice first. For her, first thing we're going to do is we're going to travel out of the village. Then we're going to quest in the ruins there. We're going to have her try and complete that quest because she's really got the best chance of doing it. And then we're going to do battle in there and take out the minion that is there, or perhaps even be able to move her one more. By, if we get lucky, maybe we can move her one more into there and try and do some battle there with her spells and ally. Anyway, so travel is going to be our morning action. We're going to travel in the morning, we're going to quest in the afternoon, and we're going to do some fighting in the evening. Okay, next up is the Brigand. Now, here is our Brigand in a big mess of people, so we're going to do some things. I do want to try and get more fortifications up. So what we're going to do is we're going to battle first. It's going to be our first card. Then we're going to travel. Then we're going to fortify. Now, still, where we fortify might change, but we're going to battle in the morning. We're going to travel in the afternoon, and then at night we're going to try and fortify a location. And then we have our soldier. So if we can get 2 more fortifications up and keep them, then we're going to be in good shape. Plus, I try and position us where we reduce the potential of risk at the locations with the hope areas. Now, a lot of that's going to depend on who goes first, but anyway, we're going to first battle with our Brigand. Now, our soldier who's up here. That's going to go there in the morning. Then we're going to travel, and then we're going to fortify again. Hopefully that works out in our favor, works out for us. And those are our current actions. Now, remember that we do have a spell. The Apprentice does have a spell that could be helpful. We'll see how it plays out. And again, the way I'm rolling dice, I'm trying to make sure that we are careful about rolling our fate dice. I do think with these battles, we're going to need to do as much as we can to kill as much as we can, as quickly as we can. So we're probably going to have to use some of those dice, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get on to our morning actions. Our planning phase is done. Now we got to go on to the action phase. All right, so here is our morning our cards for the morning. We're going to do a quick shuffle. Make sure that we get it as mixed up as possible. I really would like our players to be able, at least a couple of them to go before the enemies do. That would be awesome, especially if that Despair comes up. So let's see what we get first. Okay, it's going to be our Apprentice. It says travel or add 1 spell card from your discard pile. We can't do that, but we can travel. So let's take a look at that. We're going to go here to that location during our travel. And it says for a Guile, which we don't have, we could move 1 minion from our space to our area. Now look at this. I want you to see this. It doesn't say choose 1 card. It says draw 1 spell card. So I really think, even though there's a huge debate on this, I think it's right to say that you don't get to pick the spell cards, you get to draw them. So we are going to do that. We're going to spend 1 of our arcane fate dice to draw a spell card off the deck. And we get research. Before a hero resolves an action, look at the top card of one encounter deck. You may choose to return that card to the top of the, or bottom of the deck. That's pretty good. Or, after a battle, the hero may re-roll any number of D10s of D10 rolled. Increase each D10 result that is re-rolled by 2. That will be very helpful in fights. Then, so that is going to complete, though, our travel action. So we're going to complete that and then re-roll this die. It's another arcane, so we're okay, and we'll put it back in the pool. Okay. I really would like some rage, actually, but we'll see. All right, next up, so we were successful at traveling there. We did some good stuff. Awesome. Let's see what comes next. Oh, our brigand is going, or sorry, our soldier is going to battle. Now, we don't have one of these, so we cannot move a minion from an adjacent space to our space. Don't know that we want to anyway. We can battle and gain 1 influence, so we're going to battle. Now, we have 2 minions there. One, well, we have a, well, actually, in that space, we just have a captain. So the Soulless Captain has a defense of 4 and a strength of 6, so we might take a wound here. I really can't do anything but try. So we're going to do that and see if we can at least damage that captain. We're going to have to leave it there. That's really bad. I mean, I really don't have a way to automatically defeat it. I wish he came up a little later in the program. Let's put it that way. But let's roll and see what we get. Now, we need to take a look at the Soulless here, and it says battle. If the enemy deals damage to a hero during a battle phase, turn 1 fate dice to darkness. So hopefully we roll high. We need to beat a 6 to not take damage. We need to beat a 4 to damage it. We rolled a 7, so perfect. That is awesome. We do 1 point of damage to the captain. Man, I wish we could have done more, but that's what we get done there. So let's take a look, continue to look. After the battle, we gain 1 Fury token. So we're going to gain 1 Fury. And then it says discard 1 Fury token to damage each enemy in your area. We're going to definitely do that. So we're going to spend another Fury, of our Fury tokens to do 1 more point of damage to the captain right here. So now we have 2 points of damage on the captain. It's almost dead. We don't have any of our Fury built up, and that's going to be the end of the card for our soldier. But not bad. I mean, we fought the captain, we did not take damage, and we did 2 points. Can't go wrong there, which means we didn't have to turn one of these cards to a darkness card either, which is helpful. What's next? Oh, here's the bad card, guys. Yeah, so I was hoping it was in the next pile so we could get some things done, but we can't. So, good news is we don't have any darkness. But Despair. Raise the Despair track if applicable, then spawn minions in addition. Perform a muster for each faith in the fate pool. We don't have any faith in the fate pool. As you can see, faith is the candle, so that's good. But let's take a look at spawning for Despair. Oh, I think I already know what the answer is, but I'm going to continue to check until I'm really comfortable with the rules. Okay, raise the Despair track by 1 for each Hope objective location containing at least 1 non-delayed minion. Well, that is all of them, so that's 3. I mean, we had a really bad start, guys. I can't begin to tell you how. I don't know how we're going to turn it around. If no Hope objective, remains in play, move it up by 1. Then spawn 1 minion on each Hope objective location in play. Then for each missing Hope objective, roll 1 non-darkness. So we don't have any missing because we haven't collected any yet. But let's go to the Shambler, our enemy board. We have to move this up, not 1, not 2, but 3 spaces. I mean, we could not clear the enemies out from those locations. There was 1 in each. Okay, and then it says we passed one of the milestone markers, so it says each hero in an area with at least 1 enemy tests Spirit. So that, again, is all of our heroes, because we didn't get to go in an order would have been beneficial to us. And, of course, it's Spirit, which is our weakest stat for most of our folks. If we fail, we resolve a muster. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. So let's go. We're going to roll 2 dice for our apprentice. 10, so we did actually resolve that, so the apprentice gets nothing. We're okay there. We get 1 die for our brigand. Come on, brigand. An 8! Perfect! We did not suffer from that. We exactly rolled an 8. So we did not have to muster there. And then the soldier gets 2 dice on Spirit. And we rolled a 7, so we failed. So we are going to roll 1 muster, which means we have to roll 1 die. And then I think that happens before... Yes, that's going to happen before we do our spawning. So, a good friend of mine told me that the Bones enemy is one of the toughest enemies out there. So we're going to have to muster. I think we'll take one of these arcane ones. We'll use that, and it goes into darkness. Which means we have a... Oh my god, could this get worse, guys? Because now we actually have a darkness. In regards... And that will... as the way I understand these cards, that will take effect. You go in order. So what is going to happen is... This is going to go up here. So there's an enemy there. That is absolutely outstanding. Now we have to spawn those. So we're going to spawn in a bunch of areas. Well, not a bunch, but the 3 areas. It's going to be a short game, guys. We're going to spawn there, and spawn there. The only good news is we don't have an overrun. That's really the only good news out of that. Okay, we're not in a siege state, but we actually ended up with a darkness. Each hero must change 1 fate die to nature. If there is 5 nature in the pool, well, okay, we can do this. We can do this. And the fate, after resolving the ability, discard 1 stability from Farron Rock. Well, okay. Well, we can change this one to nature. There's 1, but guess what? There's going to be 5 in Farron Rock, because that's how unlucky we are. We already had 2. So this one will become a nature, if I can find it. A nature. And this one will become a nature as well. Which means we lose the stability in Farron Rock. Guess we'll just take this lower tower out here. Maybe we can get it back later. Farron Rock took a hit. I mean, that was really unreal, guys. I mean, that's just awful. I can't... We're having terrible, terrible luck. I mean, normally my luck isn't that bad. Jeez, this is awful. I mean, it really couldn't be worse. This is the first card we pulled. Look at what happened. All the garbage that happened from that. All right, well, that's the end of that card, at least. I guess. Looking up on the bright side. So we do know that the next person to go is going to be our brigand. He's going to battle. Now we did have 1 rage to spend. We don't now, of course, so we can't deal 1 damage to an enemy in our area. That goes bye-bye. But we can lose our shadows, which we will do, to gain a D10. Now the problem is, because we have all nature in there, we're not going to be able to get the shadows back either. And then we battle or gain 1 influence. So we're going to battle. We're going to roll an extra die. So basically we're going to roll, we have 3 dice to roll because there's 3 enemies in the space, plus we get an extra die, and we're going to, I don't think you roll separately. Let me just check something. Okay, minor correction, we're not going to roll 4 dice, we're going to roll 3. We got 2 minions there. I'm debating on whether I even drop the shadows. I think I'd rather keep the shadows since I can't get it back, and just roll 2 dice against those 2 minions there. We're not going to get to do anything to the captain at all, but we'll see. So we actually hit both the minions and killed them, and we didn't have to do anything else, but we got rid of them. That's helpful. Then I would have loved to have been able to do this, but I can't, so that's really it for our brigand. That's it. That's all he does that turn. Whoosh, guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be really rough, man. I need your help and advice when we get to the end of this, because we are losing. I mean, we're just getting devastated. I can't roll well. We're picking all the wrong cards at the worst times. Timing has been terrible. But let's get on to our day action. I'm not a quitter or a loser, so let's get on. Getting on. Okay, so here's our day actions now. Let's see who goes first. Hopefully not the bad guys. Well, I don't know. The worst thing that happened already happened, I guess. So we'll see. Okay, I shouldn't say that though, right? So travel. Okay, we don't have any ability to do anything extra. This really, really sucks. Now I could, instead of travel, roll 2 fate dice. It's going to blow the last part of our turn, but why don't we do that, guys? Instead of traveling, I'm going to re-roll 2 of the fate dice, because this nature stuff is not helping us. And then lose shadows to deal 1 damage to an enemy. I could do that. Let's see. We're going to do that. We're not going to move. We're going to stay there and try and clear this space. Let's see. Okay, good. We got a guile and another nature, so that wasn't very helpful, but here's what we're going to do. Now, I can lose shadows to put a damage on an enemy. So we're going to do that to the captain. Has to be an enemy in our area. So the captain has taken 1 damage, and then I'll spend the guile die, based on the card, to re-enter shadows. So we'll re-roll this, and we get... Oh my god. So we're back to 5 nature. Okay, next up, of course, Okay, corruption. All right, so now we're going to do the portals to the unknown. Corruption. Raise the corruption track if applicable. Of course. In fact, all 3 of them? No, only 2 this time. Oh my god, so we really have to move it twice, which is still terrible. All right, so it's going to go 1, 2, and here's the good news: we haven't crossed an event yet, so nothing else happens from that. But we did have to move it up 2. This is awful. We're not even getting anywhere near completing an objective. I'm just trying to fend off the terrible things that are happening. We have no darkness. There's an upside. It's all nature. Each hero in an adjacent... Oh, and then muster for each nature. So now we've got to spawn. So now we're going to be doing some spawning. Now, good news is I still don't see a problem with an overrun, but we're getting dangerously close. We're going to put 1 there, and then there's 1 way up here in the corner. And that's that. So that's our muster. Then we go to the darkness piece. It says each hero in adjacent to an area with a captain. We don't have to worry about that because we had no darkness. Okay, then siege, we don't have to worry about that. So, wow, that's all that happened. Shocker. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, not terrible. So let's move on to our next card and see what happens next. It is our lovely lady. She's going to quest. Well, guess what? Reduce the target number of the active quest by 2. We're going to do that by spending 1 of these. So we spend that, then we have to quest. Now, if you recall our quest, it's unlocking Ancient Evil. You finally catch up with the adherent as he begins to open the portal. Stop the summoning. So if what we have to do is we have to succeed with a spirit of 7, but because we spent that die, it's going to be a spirit of 5. And if we succeed, we gain 1 hope and add a structure to an area. That is really good. Okay, so let's do that. Now, we're going to need a couple of dice. So, you know, I could have discarded her to stop that stability, but we'll leave this 1 go. Let's do this quest. So we need a 5 or better, and we got a 7 on one of the D10s, so we succeeded at this quest. That is fantastic. All right, so we don't have to worry about that. We just gain 1 hope and add a structure to an area. So good job, apprentice. You completed the quest. Now, if we had had a arcane, she could have drawn a spell, but we don't. However, we're going to get to reroll 1 of those nature dice. That's good. But we gain 1 hope, and we get to put a structure somewhere. I want to put it someplace safe. So I'm going to put it in this village right here. That'll give us 4 if everything survives. It'll give us 4 supplies, or 4 resources next turn, and then maybe we can go and try and complete one of these objectives and start getting them done. I mean, that's the name of the game. That's how you win. So hopefully we can get that done. And that's it for the acolyte, or the apprentice. That's the only thing she's able to do. She was questing there. It actually worked out well enough. I'm not complaining. And then do we draw a quest out at that point? Get a new quest? Let me just check out quests. Yeah, each time a hero, if there are no quests in the quest deck, shuffle the discard. Okay, no. Quest test. Yep, okay, we reveal the next quest. Alright, so we're going to reveal the next quest on the top of the quest deck, and it's going to be a roadblock. It requires tactics 5. That's pretty good because our guys are good with tactics. And it's going to take place in a village. It says the main roads into Farronrock are under assault. Reopen the trade routes before the city starves. Okay, we can succeed to gain 1 supply and move 2 captains 1 area. This we got to get done. We're doing this as soon as we can. And it says raise devastation by 1 for each captain in a village. Well, so the good news right now is there are no captains in villages, but that doesn't mean anything yet. So, and that's if we get to, it's based on the darkness event. So, okay. All right. Well, that's it. So that happens in a village. That is that. And then the last thing we have to do is roll this die, which we get a darkness. Okay. Well, let's see what we get with the brigands. We're going to travel. Hopefully we can do something. We might have to re-roll. Instead of travel, stay there and fight again and re-roll. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to move. Oh, man, guys. Discard 1 fury to deal 1 damage. We don't have any fury. I could spend an arcane to move 1 minion, but I can't do that because I have nothing. So we're going to not travel. I can't believe we're forced to do this. But this game is just screwing me left and right. So we're going to be forced to roll 2 dice instead of travel. Let's do that. I mean, we've got to be able to do things with these fate dice. It's too much. But we're going to take one of these darkness ones and this one, and we're going to roll those. Let's see what we get. Okay, well, that's not terrible. And then in the end, since that happens after, we could discard 1 Fury to resolve a battle or gain 1 Fury. So we're going to do that. We're going to take that die so I can gain a Fury. This will set us up for whatever we do next, hopefully. Then we're going to re-roll this die, and we get another Rage back. Okay, that worked out pretty good. So we ended up doing this. We gained a Rage, and we rolled that and got it back. So there's our pool. Much better than we were before. Still not fantastic. And yeah, that didn't really do anything in our area. We're still in quite a bit of trouble, and that's going to end all the actions for the day phase. So we're going to the night phase. Let's grab those cards, and we'll shuffle them up. Well, we did accomplish some things, but just not enough. And next turn, maybe if we can complete that with the resources we get, I'm going to make sure we can try and get to one of these objectives and start clearing them out. We've got to keep doing that. Okay, that's I think that's shuffled well enough. Okay, let's see. I'll do one more cut. Okay, what do we get? And it's the scheme. That's fantastic. We have no darkness, so there's a good part. Resolve active quest scheme, which is raise the devastation by 1 for each captain in a village. We finally don't have to do something bad. Okay, so there are no captains in the village. We are lucky. We have the captains, the 3 captains. I'm just going to mark where they are. 2 in ruins, 1 in a dungeon. Okay, we're good. We have no darkness, so we don't have to do that. But we're going to spawn a defeated captain. We don't have any defeated captains. So, man, we really lucked out. This was a good card. Timing on this was actually okay. And we're not in a siege state. So I'm going to double check, but I think that's it. I don't think we do anything else with that scheme. Just to be sure, scheme. Yeah, players resolve the active quest scheme. Each captain not in a quest area moves 1 area forward toward the nearest area of Farron, but all captains are in a quest. Or wait, not in a quest area. Not in a quest area. Or Farron, whichever is closer. If there's a tie, there's quest area. If there's a tie, then the captain. Okay, so they're going to move towards Farron, which means that 2 captains. Okay, this is not great, actually. Yeah, that's not great. Now, it doesn't have any immediate effect, but it could if we get a scheme again and they're already in there. So here's what's going to happen. So let's take this guy. He is actually moving into Farron. He's stolen his way into Farron. Luckily, he's damaged, and he will go into here. And then the one that's been fighting our soldier is going to go in there too. He's got 2 damage on him, so that's not terrible. He will come into here. Okay, and then last but not least, this guy up here is simply going to move to there. And that's going to be it for that movement for the scheme. That was pretty bad, actually. So we're going to have to go into Farron now and not do all the things we need to do to try and resolve those, get those captains out of there. Because if we leave them there, bad things will happen. Good news is they're damaged, I guess. Okay, let's move on. Like I said, I think this is going to be a short game, but we're going to try. We're going to do our best. Okay, what's up next? We got our battle for our spellcaster, our apprentice. That was her last action. Now, we really can't do much. We don't have anything we can do, but we battle or gain an influence. Well, we're going to battle because she's got 2 baddies there. And I think we're going to... Well, we don't have to use a spell yet. It says after battle, the research thing can help us. Also, exhaust this card when you place a structure in a village. You know, I did do that, but she didn't place it. She didn't place it. Never mind. Well, she did. She placed it for completing a quest. I just want to share this to you. Exhaust this card when you place a structure in a village to gain influence. I definitely would have done that if I could have, and I believe I could have because we placed this one here based on her completing the quest. So I'm going to say that happened. Okay, so that means that the lady, our ally, has been exhausted. It will give us a well-needed influence. I think that's fair. Sorry for taking that back, retroing it, but that would make sense. I'm trying to keep track of everything on the board. All right, now we do have this battle here, though. So what we're going to do is she's going to roll 2 dice, 2d10. Again, she only needs 2s to defeat him, and better than 2s to not get hit or not do any damage, get any damage done to her. So let's see if she can manage this. There's no way to get any extra dice, but she does have this if we fail. So let's see. Of course, we failed once, so we did kill one of them. However, I think we're going to have to spin the spell. I don't know what else we could do, guys. After a battle, a hero may reroll any number of d10s and increase the result by 2. Because I don't want her to take damage, I want to kill both those guys. We're having really bad luck with it, so we did. Okay, We killed 2, but we had to use her research spell to do it. So I'm just going to put that on the bottom. I'm getting too many things going on here, so I'll put that on the bottom of the deck for reshuffling later. And then we get that. Okay, so she did manage to take those 2 minions out of these ruins, and that was about the best scenario we could have hoped for there. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I think we can just send the soldier into Farron Rock to take care of those captains. We'll have to see. Fortify, so we know that we were going to fortify. We're already in a fortified space. So we really can't do anything there. We can just discard 1 fury to choose a hero. That chosen hero may resolve a battle action. Well, that doesn't really help us much either. But let's do this. We can't fortify. We already have a fortification there. You can only have 1. So I guess we'll gain a supply. Here's a supply. Now where we're at, remember, is up in this space here. I know you can't see it because of the city, but there's a minion and a fortification there. And then what we'll do is, I don't think we're going to do this. I mean, I could re-roll a nature die. But then we might get dark. Well, we're at the end of the day. Don't know if it matters too much. And we can discard a fury to gain a fury. We might do that because we only have 1 fury right now. Discard 1 to have a chosen battle. Well, we don't want to do that. So I think, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'll take these 2 nature dice. We'll spend 1 and then we'll re-roll 1. We'll keep 1 around. So we get a rage on that one, and then this one got spent. Then I'm going to spend a rage to gain another one of these. Means now 2 fury tokens for our guy, and then we have to re-roll these. Okay, well, we got a darkness, of course. 1 in 6 chance, but we get it all the time. I didn't have that visible on the rolling. I tend to do that from time to time. I apologize, but that's what we ended up with right there. So, you know, we don't have a lot of good luck, guys. This is the way it goes. Playing with bad luck deal here. All right, then we're going to go to our last character. That's it for the soldier, but we do have 2 rage, so you can go in there and just wallop on these captains, which we're going to do next turn. And then the brigand also did a fortify, but remember, I chose not to move him either. So if there are 2 or more enemies in your area, lose shadows to gain 1 supply. There's not. So we can fortify or gain 1 supply. And we don't really have to, we can ignore all the rest of the cards. So we're just going to gain supplies. Which really isn't the worst thing that could happen, guys. It's not the worst thing that can happen, because now we have 4 supplies and a hope we can complete one of our objectives. And we're going to try to do that, without a doubt. It's going to be our supply one. No, it won't complete all of them. We've got to complete 3 of them to get this card out of the way. But if we succeed, we do get to spend 4 supply and 1 hope to claim the objective. That's all we get to do is claim the objectives. Now remember, this is a battle, right? So after resolving the action card, test tactics 8 for each minion you defeated, reduce the skill test by 1. So we have to rally the troops and go into a battle in a dungeon, specifically. Which is not going to be hard to do. I think our apprentice can do that easily, because the apprentice is up there right next to that dungeon, and we need to clear it anyway, so that's a good thing. We can do this one. So here's my plan. We're going to clean up we're going to finish the rest of the turn off. Okay, nothing bad happens right now. We do get our resources, and we do all our reset now. There's nothing to reset. We can't re-roll that darkness die right now, unfortunately. I don't think. I'm just going to double check on the phase. So prepare. Many components have prepare phase effects. We don't have those. Resource steps. So each structure in play, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to get 4 resources. I think we'll get 4. We'll get 2 influence, 2 hope, which will go in here. I mean, we're definitely going to be able to complete some things. We're starting to build up enough resources to do that. So that is our supply, our resource step. Then we do our refresh step. So in that step, Nikki, the ally, will become reusable. Sorry, stumbling over my words, trying to think through what I want to do next. Then we refresh. Yeah, we refresh all exhausted cards. Then we revive a defeated hero. Then we reset. Reset the enemy action cards. Okay, we're going to redo that. So we're going to reset the enemy action cards because they've all been used. So what does that mean? Well, these are the 2 that were there, and we know that they are going to be the Devastation and March card because those are the ones we didn't draw, so it's these 2. But we don't know what order they're in, so we're going to take that. We're going to shuffle these ones up. And I'm trying to shuffle them up so I don't know what they are as best I can. Okay, I've lost track at this point, so good. Okay, then we take these and we put them simply on top of that. That's our new deck. And then that's it. So the next thing we're going to do is go on to preparing our next turn. Guys, I still think I'm doing it right with the spell cards. I really do. Because it says draw, it doesn't say choose in those cases. There are some things that say choose, and maybe then you can go into the deck, choose one, and then shuffle it. So I don't know. I'm confused about that. But that is going to wrap up this episode, this really bad luck episode. I mean, amazingly, we have some opportunity after all of that bad luck. Now, our tracks are higher than I would like them to be, and we haven't completed any objectives yet, but we have enough resources to complete a couple of objectives next turn, which would be my mission. And we don't need to gather many more resources. I mean, right now we can complete, let's see, we can complete one in the Sanctuary. We need 4 influence. We're missing 1 influence. We need 1 more influence. That would be this card. We need 4, and we need to be in the Sanctuary. We're not there. This one we can definitely do in the dungeon. There's no question. We can go in there and do a battle, and then test Tactics 8. Now it's our apprentice. Not a good way to go. But she's the closest one to being able to do that. Well, not true. Our brigand could get into here and do that as well, and it would be easier fight. And he's got 2 dice that he could roll. And our soldier could get into a dungeon and got 3 dice. But the brigand, I believe, is going to... One of those guys has to move into Farron Rock and take out those captains. I could make it the brigand. Still a really good opportunity since there's only one. The one captain only has 1 damage. I don't want him to be in there because if something bad happens, it'll really devastate Farron Rock. So I think we can do this one. Then we just need to spend 4 supplies and 1 hope. Right now we have 4 hope in the pile, and then this one. Then we'll be able to do this one. We just need a couple more supplies. You know what? I think instead of 2 of these and a hope, I think I'm going to take one of those, 2 more supplies. 2 more supplies, because that'll allow us to do 2 objectives this turn. That would be really good, because we can do this one then too, spend 3 hope and 2 supplies. We're going to have enough to do that. So we can spend that, and that needs to be in a ruins. We're already, see, I could do this with the ruins. I could quest, well, we don't have a quest there. So we can't do that one yet. But we'll have resources for it. That's pretty good. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this episode. And, man, digging the game, not digging my luck. There's still some things in the game, rules-wise, that are just a little ambiguous, but not anything that's making me crazy at this point. We'll see how it goes. Let me know if I made any mistakes. I think I handled everything appropriately. We didn't have a big muster, which is good. But we probably will. If we're going to get a march card, we will get a march card in the next 2, either morning or day of the next turn, I think. Well, we will. So, you know, the more damage we can do up front, the better. I don't know that we're going to be able to do enough damage, and that means we're going to have some assaults on Farron Rock. There's a lot of minions that are going to go into Farron Rock. Hopefully we can do something about that. I just don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see how the turn plays out. We'll do our best. We got to get rid of that darkness die in the fate pool before anything happens. So hopefully a couple of our heroes get to go before the bad guys go, so we can get rid of that die. Because there's always a way to do it. All right, well, there you have it. I'd like to do some more like checking out the areas. You know, taking an action, action, encounter action, things like that. But we haven't been able to do much of that. Just been fending off the bad stuff that's happening. We fended it off. For the most part. It's not great. Could be better. But so far, you know, I'm not having the luck I've seen in other playthroughs. That is for sure. So if you have any advice on what I could do, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to post this a little bit before I do the next turn. So let me know, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing and feeling my agony with this game. And something else, I'll close with this. This is kind of funny. And my good buddy, fellow YouTuber, Paul Catweasel, has the same thing. I have a perpetual person that thumbs down. Just one, every time, every video I do, except for the ones on video games, which means they're only watching the ones on board games. And I know that's the same person because they're from a specific area. I can see it. I can't see who they are, but I just think it's funny. If you don't like it, don't watch. I mean, if you're just going to perpetually thumb it down. Anyway, you keep watching, like Paul always says. You're still watching, so, I guess you're coming back. If you get some pleasure about going, oh, this sucks, and thumbing it down, then great. If it's giving you some enjoyment, that's the point. So, guys, anyway, I will talk to you in the next episode. Take care. See you soon.